Okay, hello everyone. Today we have a special video, and I'm just so excited to have Miss Aaliyah Turnage, the
Yes.
awesome realtor, on today because she's going to share with us how she earned 6 transactions in 1 month.
Mhm.
6 transactions in 1 month. Okay, so this is going to be some phenomenal content. Please remember to join our Facebook group. It's called Big Deals Energy Productivity. Please join our Facebook group to learn more of this wonderful information. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to click that subscribe button. So back to Miss Aaliyah, six
Mhm.
transactions in 1 month. And have you been licensed for 2 years yet? Has it been 2 years since you've been licensed?
And not at all. So it's been like a year, and I would say it's September. So a year and 9 months. A year and 9 months.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Oh my goodness. That's insane. That is phenomenal.
That's what I keep saying.
Most people, it takes them forever to do their first deal. I remember my goal for my first year in real estate was to do one transaction.
Really?
One transaction, yes.
Yeah.
And you've done 6 transactions in 1 month. That's insane. Okay. That is insane. So, um,
Sorry. I thought I had my on do not disturb.
it's okay. So I want to ask you, Aaliyah, what do you think contributed to you being able to do this? Because the people that are on this live that are watching, they want to know how they can do 6 transactions in a month.
Mhm.
So what would you suggest, and what do you think really helped you to get to this position?
I would say Legion, like Legion. That was like the moneymaker right there. Like I would say the main the main ways I was doing was automatic emails, marketing mailers. I was doing cold calls. I was following up. I was making sure that I was networking with so many people, increasing my sphere. But
Mhm.
then also, I did pay for Zillow leads, but a lot of my leads really came from my Legion.
Okay, so for some people, they might not understand lead generation,
Yes,
or
lead
the
generation.
acronym Legion, it's
Mhm.
condensed down to. Um, that essentially means that you were actively going out prospecting people with
Yeah.
these different ways, right? And you were contacting them in order to get their business. So the first one that you mentioned was automatic emails.
Mhm.
Can you dive into that a little bit and share with us what is an automatic email? How did you set it up? What were some of the emails that you sent out to people?
Okay. So, one, I was like, what do my buyers need? Right. Before even setting up anything, I was like, well, what do my buyers need? What do they want from me? What do they want to learn from me? And I went into my CRM and really created like a template of buyer education emails. I did monthly updates on what's going on in the neighborhoods that they were interested in. And again, I had to do research ahead of time to get that information. So letting them know what listings are coming up in those neighborhoods, what sold in those neighborhoods in the last 6 to 12 months, and what does that look like. And I also emailed them like on holidays just to keep up with them, like because ultimately like my buyers, they're going to be closer than to me than just a business transaction. Like I reach out to them and really have a personal bond with them, so
Mhm.
they trust me and they know like, hey, Aaliyah is going to educate me regardless of if I am going to work with her right now or later down in the line.
Interesting. So you said that you emailed them information of what was going on in neighborhoods that they were searching in.
Yes.
So what were your emails like? Did you type them out yourself? Did you have a template that was already
Mhm.
built out? How did that work?
So it was kind of a template, But I went in and kind of moved things around. I put my own wording in there, like especially with the buyer education emails, because I really like deep dive into each step in that process, so they are not surprised at all. And then if they had questions, they would email me back, or they would even call me and say, "Hey, like Aaliyah, I got this email about seller a concession. What is that? I want to learn a little bit more about that." In whatever step they really had a question about, they always felt comfortable with like reaching out to me, because they didn't feel like I was just there just to get a check, you know?
Got you. So what you're essentially saying is that you humanized your email funnel that went out to people. So you
Correct.
didn't just have a generic funnel just going out to people. You actually went in and updated the emails and put your own personal spin to it so
Yeah,
that they knew that it was coming from you, and that if they had any questions about any specific email, they could always give you a call right then and there.
correct. Yep.
I think that is so important.
Mhm.
Like, number one, whenever I talk about business and scaling your business, it's always how can you leverage two things: people and technology. Right now, you're talking about leveraging technology because these emails were going out regardless of if you sent them or not, right?
Correct. So they were going out regardless. I once I put them in my database, it instantly, if I put a tag and says it's a buyer, the email drip will instantly like send. It'll add them to
Wow.
the email drip, and then every so often, every month, they'll get an email from me.
Got you.
Yeah.
That is actually ingenious. I love that. So right now I do pretty much the same thing. I
Mhm.
send out monthly emails, holiday emails,
Yeah.
you know, just automatically sending them homes and stuff. But I love the fact that you actually send them updates on the neighborhoods that they're interested in looking in,
Yep.
because that's the information that they need, you
and
know?
and and they really find it valuable, because if they're interested, you know, some people, they don't like the other parts of the buying process, but like the home search and looking at homes, that excites them. So now they're like, oh, I'm encouraged, like I want to buy a house, I love this house, let me talk to Aaliyah, let me talk to Amber, so we can get in this house. And now what do I have to do?
Gotcha.
So yeah.
Gotcha. I've talked to so many realtors,
Mhm.
and sometimes they're like hand typing out these emails, and they send it out, and maybe they have an
No.
alarm clock on their phone, and it's like, okay, you need to send out 5 emails right now. No, don't do that. Have the emails lined up, have
Yeah.
them going out automatically on a drip campaign to your leads so that you can relax. I'm sleeping, I'm taking a nap, I'm going to walk my dog, I'm going to get some ice cream, and the emails are doing the work for me. However, like Aaliyah says, we put the time in on the front end. Humanize
Mhm.
your email funnel. Go in, add video content, add the stuff that Aaliyah is talking about, information about events and different changes that are happening to the market. Add your
Mhm.
own personal spin to your funnels. But once you have that funnel set up, just send it
Just
out.
it works for itself. It just does all the tedious work you might not want to do every day, especially if you're trying to close deals. You're trying to lead gen. Like,
There's no way there's not enough time or hours
in the
in the day.
day.
Let's say between the months of January and April, I meet 350 people, right?
Hmm.
And that's realistic, actually. Like, I will network to meet 350 people in the month of April and
Yeah.
add them to my database, right? There's no way that I could physically talk to each one of those people every single week. No
Yeah.
way whatsoever. But these tools, these lead generation tools, which I'll add that in the description box below, or if you want to talk about lead gen tools, definitely use the link below to set up a strategy session with me, okay?
Hmm.
Or Aaliyah.
Hmm.
I'm sure Aaliyah would be available for that as well. Excuse me. But there's just no way that we could do that without technology. That's why
Yeah.
I love technology, and I love the fact that we have these tools in this industry. Okay. So, all right. So the next thing you talked about following up. All
Yes.
right. I think that's another thing.
Ooh, that
People
is the biggest.
they hit the automatic emails or
Mhm,
the funnels, and they're like, okay, I'm just let the funnels work by themselves, and they
mhm.
don't do the follow up. So can you dive into the follow up and the things that you do, like your musts that you
Okay.
do every single day? Like, how does that look when you're doing your follow up?
So for me, I go into my database, and if I have not talked to you within the last, I would say, 2 to 4 weeks, you need a call. I need to call you. I need to face it, not even face to face, but them hearing my voice, them feeling like I'm a human. I'm not just sending you automatic emails. Like, I'm here. I want to know what you're doing. I want to know if you need any help. I'm here and I'm available, so that they are comfortable with you and they trust you and they know, like, oh yeah, like Aaliyah is here. And she's going to always come and check on me, because life be lifing. No,
Right.
like, so everybody's not always so focused on where we are, because we're agents. So we're always in the market, in the housing market. They're not. So when life is going on and you can check on them and say, hey, I saw that you just got married. Congratulations. They see that they're more to you than just someone that's in your database.
Right.
And that's important. And another thing with follow up, like, if you aren't following up with them, know that another agent can or will be following up with them. So then you may miss or leave money on the table because you just didn't want to pick up the phone to give them a call.
Right. Right. That's true, because it's like, if you're not following up with that person, Amber is,
Hello, because
Aaliyah is
we're trying to
calling
get the
them.
deal.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that these clients, our buyers, are talking to more than one realtor. Every
Mhm.
single time they go into realtor.com, every time they go into Zillow or whatever website there is, they're being introduced to other realtors. So if they don't have an agreement with you, they're up for grabs.
Yep.
And if you're not following up and reaching out to them, someone like the two of us are.
Mm-hmm. Always.
So that's so important. I love that you put a number on it. You said every
Mhm.
2 to 4 weeks. If
Yes.
you haven't talked to them within a month, it's time to restart those calls all over again.
Mhm.
So
And
do you
then,
set aside, oh sorry, what were you gonna say?
well, then another thing, it really depends on where that buyer or that seller is in the process. So say if you have a seller and they're like, I'm not trying to sell until in 2 years from now. Of course, you might not want to reach out to them every single month, but you might reach out to them every quarter. Like, you want to make sure that you are top of mind
Right.
and just make it realistic. So if that person is ready to buy, like, this year, you might want to call them every month or every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? But if they're not trying to buy or sell until years from now, make sure you just hit them every quarter. At least send them something, call them, check on them.
Gotcha. So what are the types of leads that you're following up with on a 2 to 4 week basis?
I would say those leads that are ready to purchase this year, or the top of the next year. Um,
Okay.
because we want to make sure that we are there, and we're able to walk them through the process. Now, some agents, they're not going to do that. They're not going to reach out and say, hey, I have a preferred lender, let me help you, let me tell you what the documents that they're going to ask of you. These are what you need to do. Here's the link, go ahead and do the job. Like, a lot of people are not going to do that for their buyers, especially in the day and age where you have so many sellers going. Like, they're not here for that. They're ready when you are. So whenever you get pre-approved, you call them and then they'll do the rest of the job. But like, when you are an agent that wants to be um, in it with your buyer, you're going to call them just to check and see if they need any help or any assistance.
Absolutely, absolutely. And just being there every step of the way.
Yes.
And just being in their face positively.
Hello. How you doing? It's
You
me.
know, like positively, just always checking in, always being there, always being ready to pick up the bag and not fumble it.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool. So I think that is awesome.
Mhm.
So you also mentioned cold calling too. Can
Mhm.
you talk about your cold calling process?
Okay. So for me, I'll have a list. It can be from Facebook, it can be from Instagram, it could be a paid list of sellers. Like I'll have a list of people that I will call. In that process, if it is sellers and if it's in a specific zip code, I'll make sure that I do my research ahead of time to know what's going on in that zip code to be able to give them like some valuable resources or some valuable information that's going on in that neighborhood. So that's before I even call. Once I call, I really just and before I actually start dialing, I'll practice scripts. So I'll do script practice with people on my team, people off my team, just agents that are in the brokerage with me.
Hmm.
So I'll practice with them and then start calling, let them know who I am, let them know what I can do, and be of a resource to them. So those calls might not lead exactly to a lead or to a sale at that moment, but
Uh-huh.
it starts the process of me reaching out to them and being of a resource or a good resource to them so that we can get to that point where they are purchasing or selling.
So, what's some of the research or the information that you offer when you're
Mhm.
doing this call? Because I think that's what most people are missing. They're like, okay, I know I need to do a cold call. I
Mhm.
know that I have the numbers.
Yeah.
What am I going to say? you know?
So really you're saying who you are, one, but you're telling them, hey, like, I know this about your neighborhood. I know this about what's going on. I would like to set up a buyer consultation with you or a seller consultation with you to really in depth give you more research. Because if you don't really know where they want to live, one, where the house is and a lot of information about the seller's home, you can't really educate them as much as you think you can, if that makes any sense. Like it's really generic things.
Gotcha.
So
So, it's
you
just
can't
generic,
really do
just
that.
reaching out, trying to offer help if you can.
Yes. So
Wow.
it's really offering help if you can, because remember, this is a cold call. You don't know them. You don't really know what they need. So you can't really tailor the resources or the information to them per se until you have that conversation. So once
Mm.
you have that conversation with them, you're really like, hey, I'm establishing that I'm an agent and I'm here to help you. What do you need? What are you looking for?
So, okay, tell me if I'm going too far, but can we just like mock play it just a little, like a little second?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So let's say I'm a seller. Let's say I'm in Owens Mills. Okay. And you've done your research. What's some of the research? You know that this house has three
Um,
bedrooms. There's a nice backyard.
mhm.
And what's some of the research that you know?
So if you know the neighborhood they're in, you'll know if this is a high turnover rate neighborhood. So you'll
Gotcha.
know what sellers are doing in that neighborhood, what buyers are doing in that neighborhood.
So you know that someone just sold a house down the street and
Exactly.
what the
So
price
you can
point
know,
was.
yes. So you'll
Okay.
know that information. You may know if they owe something on the home. That's
Oh,
something that you may know.
okay.
Um, you may know like how many bedrooms, how many baths, but you might not really know like what this seller's circumstances are. So you can't really say, hey, this is the best
So let's
time.
just do that. Let's just have that as a basis. I'm the seller. You're calling me. Ring, 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 ring.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, hey Amber, it's Leah Turnish. How you doing today? Hello, Amber. Are you still there? Oh,
Yes.
and
So
I was
start
still in
over.
mode.
Let's start over. Ready, set, and go. Ring, ring, ring. Hello.
Hello, hey Amber, how you doing?
Hey, who is this?
Hey, it's Aaliyah Turnage. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams Legacy. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So I saw that you would be interested in kind of selling your home on 123 Main Street. How are you? Are you still interested?
Interest. I don't think I ever talked to anybody about selling my home.
So guess
Why did you think I was interested?
so I have a system online and it showed me that you were actually looking at homes and it said that you were interested in buying. So I'm just gonna say you are interested in selling as well. Is that something that you would be interested in?
You know what? I actually was looking at homes about a week ago. I'm a little scared about that process. I don't know what's going on with this market, so I don't know.
So since you're a little scared, I don't want to like shake the boat, but I do want to say that the market right now is shifting. So it is still a seller's market. It's not a buyer's
Oh,
market yet.
oh,
Yes, and you shouldn't really be scared, especially because it is still a seller's market. One.
oh,
But
okay.
two, I know a lot of people have been talking about interest rates, but interest rates are at a level of, I would say, like 5.5. Some people are getting 6.5% interest rates, and that is still historically low compared to the market. So it's
Oh,
not a bad time to buy, and it's not a bad time to sell either. It just really depends on your situation. Do you know
okay.
how much equity you have in your home now?
Yes, I would say probably have like 250,000 in equity.
Okay, 200. And do you still owe currently?
Yeah, let's say I owe 250,000.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. So I have noticed in the area in Owings Mills, there's homes, especially I saw that your house was a row home, especially row home and townhomes in Owings Mills. They're going for, I would say, 315, a little bit higher than that.
Mhm.
Would you say that that is what your house is worth now?
Yeah, but I have a nicer one on the block, so I think that mine is worth 450.
450. So I wouldn't be able to really accurately place your house in a specific value right now because I do have to put my eyes on it. I have to see the
Of
condition of the
course.
home, see what's going on in the neighborhood, just to make sure that the value that we're stating is correct. Do
Right.
you have any time this week? I can do a CMA for you and we can kind of chop it up in the house. We can talk and see what your house really could be put on the market for.
Sure. I have some time this next Wednesday.
Okay, next Wednesday. How's next Wednesday at, I would say, 1:30?
That's fine for me.
Okay.
Or actually 2 o'clock would be better. Let's do two.
Mhm. Okay. Give me a second. Let me check my calendar. Can we do 2:30?
Sure. 2:30 is fine.
Okay, so let's do 2:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Perfect.
basically that was a little choppy. But basically when we go into the conversation, it's kind of like getting that appointment. It's not really trying to educate them on a cold call because they don't know you, they don't trust you. And that's not like if it was a warm call, it would be kind of different
Right.
because you know who you are. But still, then you want to have a face to face conversation with them.
The number one thing that I loved about that call was the fact that you were like, "Hey, Amber," and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"What?" And I do that all the time when I'm cold
Uh-huh.
calling. I've noticed that some people, when they cold call, they're like, "Hi, I'm Susan from Compass, blah, 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 whatever."
Yeah.
And they sound like a robot. And it's like, no, when you call, I like to call people as if I'm calling a cousin,
Yeah.
right? So if I'm talking to a cousin, I'll just be like, "Hey, Johnny, what's up?" Or, "Hey, how are you? How are you doing?" And
Hmm.
then it puts down the other person's guard, and they're like, "Oh, hi, who's this?" And it
Yeah.
starts that communication as like, "Hi, I'm a friend, I'm coming to you with good information."
Hmm. I,
So I love that. Thank you so much for being willing to do
yeah.
that
No
cold calling
problem.
with me. That was pretty cool. So let's move on to the next thing that you talked about, which was networking.
Okay.
So can you explain a little bit about how you network?
Okay, so it's different ways. I'll go to happy hours at just different restaurants, different bars in Maryland. I'll also will do door knocking, networking events at community events. Um, so it just really depends on what I'm doing that week. How does it look like? You know?
I think that's so awesome. So for me, I actually moved into a new area. And
Mhm.
so I was here as a stranger. And for me, I was like, you know what? I have to make things work. I have to do stuff against the grain. So I actually started events, community events, happy hours. I helped them myself. And I met a lot of people through that route.
Yeah.
And so, so for some realtors, if they're having a hard time networking and adding people to their database, creating events where people will come to the events and you're attracting them, that's another great way to do stuff.
Yeah.
Um, Actually, when I was in Maryland, I actually threw home housewarming parties for my clients that would sell a house.
Oh,
And
that's
through that housewarming party, I got like maybe 4 or 5 referrals from that.
listen, that's dope. I love
And
that.
it wasn't even that expensive. I think it was like $200 for everything, like the food and stuff. I was the DJ. I was pretty much everything.
So, hold on, but where did you have it at? Did you have it at
At their house, girl. At their house.
Oh my gosh. So you would just be like, I'm gonna plan it.
I
And
told
let
them, I'm
you
like, you
do
know
your
what? I
house
love
living?
y'all. Y'all are my favorite clients. I'm throwing y'all a housewarming party. And we threw the party. I had the music. Siaka was like handing out the food and stuff. And not it was so good because they were so happy that I was throwing them a party. That
Yeah.
everybody that came to the party, they introduced me. They're like, look, I got this house because of her.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, you need to talk to her. Actually, a guy called me about I would say like 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he was at the party, and he called me
Oh
about it.
my gosh. Listen, I never thought about that because I was like, they might not want me to throw their party because they might want to do it themselves. I never thought about throwing them a party.
Or say they want to throw their own party, but you want to help them with something. Like say you pay for the food or you pay for the drinks. So
Okay.
you're essentially a sponsor for their housewarming party. You're gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, they're gonna introduce you to people. Like that's just a phenomenal way
To get,
to get referrals right then and there, and for people to see the fruits of your labor.
yeah, I love
So
that. I love that idea.
yeah, so but I love the fact that you're going to happy hours. You're going to places where you'll meet people and you can vouch for yourself while you're there.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Well,
wait, how do you approach someone and talk to them about you being a realtor? Like how can people do that without sounding cheesy and sounding pushy?
I mean, I just feel like you just first need to have a genuine conversation. We're all humans. Like we
Yeah.
are here to have a good time to like mingle with people. So we're not like on an interview like, hey, my name is Aaliyah and I'm a real estate agent. Do you need like I don't do it that way. I normally just start up conversation. I talk to people though. Like I'll be in a store and I'll talk to random people. But so it just comes natural to me. But I'll be in there, I'll have a conversation, and then eventually it'll get to, well, what do you do for a living? And I'll tell them what I do for a living. And then we talk about
Mm.
deeper things than just, oh, we're here having a drink, you know?
Got you. So you actually have a real conversation with them that
Yeah,
makes them feel comfortable with you, and then you just throw out that one line. So, what do you do for a living? And they'll explain, "Oh, I'm an engineer." And then
exactly.
they'll ask you, "What do you do for a living?" "Oh,
Yeah.
I'm a realtor.
Yeah.
I actually just
Oh,
started this
I'm glad.
program."
Like, I am glad you asked me this.
That is so funny. I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that from now on. If I meet people at a McDonald's, I'm going to tell them, I'm going to be like, what do you do for a living? Like, I work here at
Oh
McDonald's.
my gosh.
Oh, and they'd be like, what do you do? Oh, I'm so happy you asked me. I have
Right.
a program for people that are looking to purchase their first house.
Listen, I'm telling you, it works. One, because people like to talk about themselves. So
Right,
if you talk to them, eventually they'll talk back to you.
right, right. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, I love
Yeah.
it. Love it so much. Okay, and then the last thing you talked about paid leads. I
Yes.
don't know why realtors are so hush hush about paid leads. Like, oh, I pay for leads. I pay for leads. Like, it's not a bad thing to pay for leads.
It's not.
Like, okay. My thing is, if I put $1 into a machine and that machine then turns around and gives me back $4, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna put more money.
More
I'm gonna put
dollars in it.
$4 back into that machine so that it can give me more money. That's the same thing for paid leads. Like, if
Yep.
you're receiving a good return on your investment for paid leads, then do it.
Mhm.
Do it. I know we hate Zillow. Okay, we hate Zillow, but
We didn't even talk about Zillow.
we hate Zillow, but there's still Realtor.com. There are a couple other sources. So share with us what you do to pay for leads and your experience with it and whatever.
So I use Zillow. I also use Realtor.com. Um, I don't pay too much for them. Like a lot of people when they're on Zillow, they're like, I paid $1,000. I'm like, okay, I'm not paying $1,000 every month, but I do pay something every month, and I would say I'm probably getting around 5 leads from each source, so like 10 leads a month, which is not bad. Depending on how much you put in is going to depend on the quality of the lead. Um, right now, because this is again, I'm not even 2 years in, so I don't put as much money as I'm like other agents might. So I'll get like more investors and people who are like ready, like they're looking, they might not be ready this second, but these are like quality leads, whereas though they'll reach when I put them on an automatic email, they'll email me back, or they might answer the
Gotcha.
call here and there, just to ask questions. So I'm pretty sure there will be leads from the in the future.
Gotcha. And that's the thing about the leads. So, can I share how I was when I was using Zillow? Because I used Zillow for a while, and I feel like I was very successful with Zillow.
Oh yeah, go
Actually,
ahead.
my Zillow representative called me. He was like, Amber, how are you turning over so many?
Hmm. Hmm.
Because I think they said the average is like once every 20 leads, you'll convert one.
Hmm.
And even for Realtor.com, when I was using Realtor.com, they
Hmm.
only gave me 7 leads and I turned over 2.
Okay.
And so they were like, oh, this is a high turnover rate. And so what I did was, if a person reached out to me, right, and they wanted to see a house, I would ask them what their requirements were, would bring a folder, and the folder would have 3 documents. It would have terminology that they would need to know, because if I'm talking to you in realtor terms, you don't understand what the heck I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's bad. So I would give them a terminology sheet, a sheet with the wheel that shows like the entire buyer process,
Hmm.
and then I would also give them a copy of the buyer's agency contract.
Okay.
That would be the first one. I would give them that right up front.
Right.
I would meet them at a house for the first time, but I would bring somebody with me just
Hmm.
in case something was to pop off, because you're not gonna catch me blindsided. Okay? All right. So I meet them at the house. We'd have a great tour. And then at the end of the tour, I would talk to them about the buyer's agency agreement and what they can expect moving forward.
Hmm.
And I would tell them, in order for you to qualify for this house, you need to sign up with a lender. I have some of the best lenders. I'm going to send them to you tonight.
Hmm.
But in order for us to move forward in the process, we're going to sign this agreement. And usually they didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I'm giving them so much information. I'm letting them know, if you want to streamline this process, we can jump right in. However, I want us to have an agreement,
Hmm.
and they would be super fine with that. And then we would get them a pre-approval letter, and then usually they would go under contract maybe a week or so after, because I like pile up the showings all at the same time. So
Hmm.
everybody's process is different, but I had a lot of success with Zillow.com, and
Hmm.
I liked them a lot. When I was in Maryland, I liked them a lot. Oh, but another thing, your Zillow.com leads, it differs depending on the zip codes that you're in.
Yeah.
So I know some people, they're aiming for really hot zip codes. Like if you're in Maryland, you're aiming for like Owens Mills or Columbia or something like that. Those zip codes are going to be super hot, so they're going to be expensive, and you're going to get less leads.
Yeah.
Likewise, if you're here in San Diego and you're going after areas like Del Mar or Encinitas, right here, west of the 5, those leads are extremely expensive,
Hmm.
like $3,000 a month more. more for those. However, if you look at zip codes that are a little bit further away from those high areas, you can find zip codes that offer you a ton of leads for a pretty cheap price.
Yeah.
And so that's what I did. I searched in the 21207 area. My previous broker, she actually gave me that advice. So I searched in that area. It had like nice single family homes, but it was like just touching the city.
Yeah.
So it was like just right outside the city. And so I got a ton of people that were looking on both sides, like the city and Baltimore County, but then most of them ended up buying in the like $300,000 range, which was good.
Yeah.
So, so for people that are here in San Diego, 300,000 in Maryland is a good price point.
Yeah.
So it was just a good thing for me. But what do you think about it?
I feel like the zip code that I used this time was not the best, because I
Oh,
found a lot of investors and a lot of investors that weren't seasoned. So they really were just trying to learn what was going on. They really didn't understand the housing market. So it was me really trying to teach them what was going on and how to maneuver in this type of market, especially being an investor. But I did get like really good investors. I have one investor from was it Realtor.com? It was Realtor.com, and they actually bought twice this year. So we're supposed to close on another house a little later in October. So yeah, so it's hit and miss with like certain zip codes. It really just depends on like what's happening in that area, how much you're spending in Zillow or Realtor.com. It depends on what
exactly.
type of lead you're going to get.
Some people cannot stand investors. I closed on two houses with one investor
Yeah.
this year. So
Hmm.
and I closed on two houses with them last year as well. And
Hmm.
so I think that investors are good clients. You just have to really educate them. Like you said, like
Hmm.
really go through the entire process and show them, investors, they'll want to know like the return on their investment and stuff like that. So I'll show them the rental. Oh, rentometer, rentometer, RENTOMETER.com. You don't use that?
No. So I normally, if I'm going to show them like their cash flow and their return on investment, I have like a formula that I use that
That's
like
perfect.
finds out all of that information for them. So I just never use that, but I low key might use it now.
I actually give it to them to use
Okay.
because if they're looking in a neighborhood, I'm like type the address into rentometer
Hmm.
and search up what you can expect.
Yeah.
And I would say that it's been dead on. It
Hmm.
it, it hasn't faltered me yet.
That's good. I need
I'll
to use
say
that.
that. I'll say that. So they use it. They look at the neighborhood. They're like, okay, I'm putting in this. I'm getting this out. I'm good. So,
Hmm.
but what formula do you use?
It's a really complicated formula, but it's a formula that kind of like shows you what that cash flow would look like, shows
Okay.
you what that return on investment would look like based off
Uh-huh.
of like the equity in the house, the price of the house, and things like that.
Maybe that's another video that we should do. How
That's
to work with investors
yes, it
because
is. There's so many methods.
that's a skill in its all in itself.
Mhm.
It's a completely different thing. So would you say that a lot of your clients are investors?
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't
Okay.
say that. So I deal with more like home buyers, first time homeowners. I have like three, maybe three investors, but not really. Like it's probably even less than that. Yeah, so I probably did two investors this year, and
Gotcha.
one of them bought twice.
One of them bought twice. So that's
Yeah,
three transactions
three
from.
transactions from two investors. So,
Okay.
and whenever they are ready to sell, they're gonna come to me. But right now they're doing buy and hold. So,
Buy and hold
hmm
as
what
they should.
yep, as they should, because they're very seasoned for the most part. One of them
Mhm.
is very seasoned. The other one I really had to teach him different methods.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So I wanted to touch on this next topic, okay? As we all know, the market is shifting, okay? I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how many times a realtor has called me, Amber, I want to quit. I want to hang up my license. I don't want to do this no more.
No.
Like, I cannot stand being a realtor. Mind you, these are thoughts that I've never thought. I love being a realtor.
Yeah.
But the market is shifting and people are feeling it. And
Yeah.
that's why people are getting frustrated. So obviously you're thinking the opposite because you're doing very well in this
Yes.
market, even though it's shifting. So as a victor, that's what I
Mhm.
will call you, okay? As a champion of this shifted market, all right, what are some suggestions that you would give them to get business now?
Go back to the basics. Go back to the basics. Legion, legion, legion. Like I've been saying the whole entire time, you're cold calling, you're networking, you're door knocking, you following up and being in front of people's faces. You have to. You can't rely on just paid leads or your spear. You can't.
So go back to the basics, but I don't want to cold call.
I
I
don't
don't
even
want to
want to
door
be there.
knock.
I don't even want to be there. Do you think I want to do it? I'm in Maryland. It is like 90 degrees in the summer, hot, and I'm door knocking. I mean, door knocking. So hot
Oh my
outside. It's like
gosh.
you saw the sweat that's fall from off you.
I'm laughing because I'm saying I don't want to go door knocking, but literally right after this call, I'm going door knocking.
Listen, I went earlier this morning. That's
Oh
why I
my
look like this.
gosh. Okay, so can we talk about door knocking for a second?
Okay.
Okay. So, okay, pretend you're coming to my door.
Okay.
Knock, 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 knock. Okay, what are you saying? Ready, go.
Okay. Hey, hi, my name is Aaliyah Turnage. I'm a realtor, and me and my associate, we just sold a house that's around the corner from your house. And we actually had like 10 different buyers. We had the house under contract for over asking, and we have 9 buyers left that are interested in the neighborhood that you live in. So I was just reaching out to you to see if you would be interested in a free home evaluation. This evaluation literally shows you what your house would sell for in this market, what you would have to do to prepare your house for the market, as well as just telling you about what's going on in your area. Is that something that you would be interested in?
Absolutely. Come on in, sugar. Let me pour you a glass of tea, give you some cookies.
Like right now, sis? Okay, let's go. I'm ready.
No, okay, I love that. I'm in
So,
love. So you're going to houses that have recently sold that you have either sold or somebody in your team has sold, right?
yes.
Mm,
So
this
I'm
is
doing
so
that.
nice. This
Yes.
is so nice. Interesting. And so you're asking them, you're just being super upfront about it, which I love. I don't know why as realtors we try to beat around the bush. Oh, here's a recipe on barbecue ribs. What is that going to
And the craziest part, just imagine you're knocking on someone's door, you do not know them.
do?
They
Right.
just looking at you like, why are you here? Get to the point. Get to the point. I'm here because X, Y, and Z. And if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to directly ask for that evaluation and that appointment, at least tell them why you're there. Hey, my name is Aaliyah. I'm a realtor. This is some information that I want to give to you about the neighborhood. I want to be your neighborhood expert, and I'm here giving you some information about what's going on in your neighborhood. Just give me a call if you ever have any questions. Like, you have to get straight to the point. You cannot just beat around the bush on why you're there. Like,
Absolutely. And people can feel that the market is shifting. They can feel that, the recession.
yeah.
A recession is coming. And so sometimes when I'm door knocking, I just ask them, hey, would you like to stay updated on what your home value is going to be as the market continues to shift?
Yeah.
And they'll be like, how can I do that? Well, I had this tool called HomeBot where it will give them a instant like shot of what their home value is each month. And then on top of that, that tool will also keep them updated on if they have opportunities to refinance on their home and stuff like that. So like that's just a tool that you can use as well. It's only $25 a month.
Yeah, that's not bad.
And it sends them videos every single month. I mean, you just need to be partnered with a lender. But Malcolm, he does it. So, and he'll sponsor you in a heartbeat. So,
I love him.
yeah. So I think it's a great tool. I'm putting in videos into that. I have like I think I have 6 videos in there right now, and it just automatically goes out to people so they can get to know me, know my personality, and all that other stuff. And yeah, we're not strangers anymore.
Hello. I'm here for you. We are friends now.
Oh my gosh. But Aaliyah, this was so fun. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this information. I mean, I know that you don't have any like interest in helping out other realtors, but the fact that you're willing to do that and to share this information with them, I highly applaud you and I thank you so much. And also just hand claps for what you're doing. You haven't even been in this industry for 2 years and you're out here killing it and just being a perfect example of a person that uses strategy and hard work to get it done.
Yep. All day.
So everybody that's watching, please remember to join our group. Our Facebook group is called Big Deals Energy. Aaliyah is a member of this Facebook group. We're just going to have a ton of content on how to stay on it and how to kill it in real estate. And if you're watching this on YouTube, please remember to like, subscribe to this channel for more juicy content. So Aaliyah, thank you so much for coming on, and I hope to have you on here again to talk about investors.
Yes, thank you.
All right, guys. See ya.
See you.